Someone recommended
There
this,
are
so
certain
let's go,
fundamental
because it's
truths
Snow
about
White.
this world which are so universal that anyone, no matter their race, colour or creed, can pretty much agree on them. 1. Never trust a post-Vindaloo fart.
Ew!
2.
Is the
Spreadable
pool?
butter isn't. 3. Anytime a woman
Isn't.
starts a sentence with, a real man would, you know
A real man would. A real man should know everything that a real woman would think about. They need to be telepathic. What do most of you guys think that a real man should be doing? In Asia, if you can make a business booming, get a good job, or something, you're already a real man. There's also this saying that a real man won't shed tears. In my opinion, if you can survive, who cares if you are real or fake? The same goes to the ladies.
you're about to hear some weapons-grade retardation. And to
Like, who
that
cares,
not-so
yes?
illustrious list, we can add that the Snow White live-action remake was, without a doubt, one of the worst ideas in the whole history of entertainment. Possibly the
Yes,
most
even the author doesn't let you make it.
predictable of all
Bro,
failures.
why did you
A
even make
project
it?
conceived for all the wrong reasons, starring all the wrong people, pushing all the wrong messages, and telling
gonna
the
lie, she's
entirely
really pretty.
wrong story.
She's really pretty.
After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around it for what feels like decades now, it was actually kinda weird to finally sit down and just watch this thing. Like meeting a celebrity after following their career for years.
give you one
Not a
bread.
good kind of celebrity, like. More like a Jimmy Savile kind of celebrity. The kind that you're
Celebrity.
discreetly warned never to get into
Celebrity.
a lockable room alone with. But here it is, nonetheless. And now that I've finally suffered through nearly 2 hours of Snow White, I can confidently tell you that, yes, this
Oh no, it's 2 hours of the movie. I am so sorry, you guys. Anyone who watched this, your
film
eyes.
absolutely lived up to all my
Needs to
worst
be cleansed.
expectations, and in some cases even exceeded them. A bloated, overstuffed turkey of a production, weighed down by hammy acting, cheap costumes, horrendous CGI,
Cheap
and
costumes. To be honest, I don't know what is expected of a expensive costumes. I don't know. It's in the medieval time, right? So I'm guessing like the costumes are kind of normal that time. But because it's in a movie, it needs to be very pretty. The only thing I remember is like the Little Mermaid. The medieval costumes, for me, just my taste, because I don't think I've ever seen many medieval type of movies, so I don't really care about the costumes. It just looks cheap to me. It's just sad, okay, it's sad.
inducing cinematography that bungles most of the elements it steals from the original animated movie, abandons its classic ideals of self-sacrifice, heroism, and true love, and injects the lethal dose of the message, which is so redundant and thematically contradictory that it just gets abandoned by the ends. It's also laughably obvious where they've had to reshoot and rewrite big chunks of this movie in response to all the backlash. Entire subplots, characters, and setups are introduced and then abandoned without explanation, and the ending is so wildly anticlimactic and jarring that it makes World War Z look like a model of cinematic efficiency.
Whoa.
Anyway, let's get
So
the plot
sad.
summary over with so we can put this turd behind us. The
Let's
basic
go,
setup for Snow White is broadly similar to the original film. Snow White herself is born to the benevolent king and queen of a generic medieval fantasy land that tactfully goes unnamed, although me, they must have pretty good transportation links with the rest of the world because the population here is more ethnically diverse than
I know, right? Like there's a lot of races going on here. What is going on?
Central London. Anyway, Snow White's mom dies and her
Maybe they have a magic portal that links to all over the world. Who knows? It is England. They believe in pixies that time.
dad
sorry
remarries Gal
about that.
Gadot, who manipulates him into going off to war, where he promptly disappears and is never seen again. Oh no, guess she's gonna have to take control of everything. What a bind. Fast
What a
forward a few
bind.
years and the kingdom's become a kind of dystopian nightmare where everyone's poor and hopeless and ruled over by
Oh
an
no.
iron-fisted tyrant. It's a bit like modern-day Britain, only with better sanitation and dental care. Anyway, after a confrontation with Snow White over a bandit named Jonathan who tried to steal some food from the castle, the evil
There's the only bread. The only
the
bread.
best thing to do is send her out into the forest where the huntsman can conveniently murder her. It's a bit extreme, but I'll let it slide. Naturally, the huntsman has
Yeah, like sweet, merciful king. I can do the London accent. I was just here for a loaf of bread. I would like to bring bread to the citizens that are starving. Would you bestow me some bread? Stealing a bread for the citizens? Unforgivable. A bread is equivalent to our royal treasure. Make your choice. Would you like to feed the mice in the dungeons? Or would you like to take this stabby knife and stabby this person that I do not like? Choose. Just for a loaf of bread.
second thoughts and decides to let her go, and after wandering alone for a while, she runs into 7 dwarves that I can only describe as the kind of thing that Cthulhu probably has nightmares about. I'm not kidding, man. The brief glimpses that you got of these things in the trailers are absolutely nothing compared to the existential horror of actually witnessing them on the big screen. These are
or witnessing them on the big screen. They look like they will kidnap someone.
nightmares made real. Like if you woke up in the middle of the night and saw Mr. Blobby standing at the foot of your bed, silent, motionless, watching you with those blank, lifeless eyes that bore into your very soul.
Their dead fish eyes.
After crashing at their house for a while, eating their food and helping herself to all of their resources, Snow White helpfully forces them to clean up their own home while she prances around like she's on some mad acid trip. Which she probably is, to be fair. I would be if I was in this movie. Then for some reason she gets it into her head that her dad must still be alive, and the only way to find him is to seek out the bandits that lurk in the forests.
Right.
So naturally, she runs into Jonathan about 5 minutes after leaving the house so that
The
the rest
prince
of the
became
plot
a
can
bandit.
happen, and
Sad,
he protects
sad.
her from the evil queen's soldiers by taking an arrow that was meant for her, so she brings him back to the dwarves to get fixed up. Oh yeah, you know those retarded looking Starbucks baristas from those early set pictures that everyone thought were the dwarves? Well, those are the bandits, who are actually out of work actors forced to become thieves because the evil queen's taxation policies shut down their entire industry. Is that a
So did the dwarves still have a job as the bandits, or they're
Because
unpaid?
the evil queen's something? Is that a reference to something?
Is that a reference to something?
No idea. Anyway,
No
Jonathan
idea,
decides
no
to
idea
lure the
indeed.
Queen's soldiers away to give Snow White time to escape, and then immediately gets captured because he's a bumbling idiot. And the evil queen decides that she's had enough of this shit. Frankly, one sympathizes, so she turns herself into an old hag and manipulates Snow White into eating a poisoned apple that makes her go a bit dead. But that's okay
bit
because
dead.
Jonathan escapes prison so that the rest of the plot can happen and gives her the world's least passionate kiss, which brings her back to life so that she can begin her cunning plan to
So the one who stole the bread still escapes dungeon. What's the point then? What's the point if you can escape dungeon so easily? Why don't just go into the dungeon the first place
overthrow
and then
the queen
escape?
and take back her kingdom. Do you want to know what that plan is? Are you ready for the 4th dimensional quantum mega chest that she plays here that would probably give Christopher Nolan a brain hemorrhage? Well, she walks into town and then convinces the soldiers to turn against the evil queen because she can remember their names.
Huh? Yeah. What are you wearing? So contrast. My eyes nearly blind. You said you wanna take the queen down. For some reason, I feel like I am rapping or something. Give me some proof if you want us to help you. Your name is Michael. And that dude's name is Bob. He was once a very good construction worker. They know our names. So let's stage a coup d'etat. Whatever that accent means.
Really?
I'm not kidding, that's her plan. So the evil queen gets mad
Let's
and
go.
smashes the magic mirror and then turns into black glass and shatters, and Snow White becomes the new queen, and that's it, they all live happily ever after.
Oh, let me turn that into something prettier. There we have it.
Now, there's a lot I want to say about this movie, but first, let us begin with the positives. And as hard as it might be to believe, most of them actually concern Rachel Zegler.
No way.
No
Now, don't
way.
get me wrong, she might be an obnoxious arsehole in the real world, but credit where credit's due here, she actually isn't terrible as Snow White.
It's not true. That's impossible!
I mean, her outfit looks like it cost like $100 off Amazon. Her haircut makes Anton Chigurh like a cutting-edge trailblazer. Her performance is a bit over the top and theater kid at times, and her American accent comes and goes depending on whether or not she's in a reshoot. But I do get the impression she's at least trying to do her best with the material, and she can absolutely belt out the musical numbers, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a trained vocalist. The same cannot be said for Gal Gadot, however. It genuinely pains me to say this, but I think we all need to come to the acceptance that that girl cannot act. It takes a
This poor girl, she's very pretty, but yeah, wait a moment. Let me find something. Yeah, this one.
To fill the Nile. Kalel, no.
Hello,
Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger. I need you to give me the stone. What?
He looks like, what are you talking about, bro?
happened to
So
it?
confused.
What did you say?
So exciting. Very interested to find the men who bought those.
Why should I help you?
Because we're asking you nicely.
Just tell me what it costs to get her away from me. Name a price. I'll buy the whole damn boat if I have to.
Who are you? The lasso of Hastia compels you to reveal the truth.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
But who?
Enough.
I said enough.
As Amazons, this is our duty. You have no idea what kind of power you're dealing with.
Not gonna lie, it's comedically good.
special kind of charisma, presence, and dramatic range to play a good Disney villain, and well, Gal Gadot doesn't have it. Her delivery somehow manages
You
to
need
be
to be a
wooden
little
and
bit
scenery
natural.
chewing at
She's
the
not
same
natural.
time, and when she has to deliver a big musical number, you can pinpoint the exact moment where they swap out her voice with someone who can actually sing.
That's so sad.
There's no heaven.
Hey, that one is actually nice
Jonathan
though.
is yet another
What
entry
do you
into
mean?
the bumbling, forgettable, non-threatening male sidekick list of modern-day Disney heroes. There's brief moments where it seems like he might be displaying the tiniest bit of attitude and heroism, but then it's immediately squashed to reinforce the idea that men are all just a bit useless. Visually, the
That's
film's
so
an
sad. That's
inconsistent
so sad.
mess. CGI Cthulhu
Like the prince is like, I wanna be a hero. What are you talking about? You are supposed to be useless. Go lie on the ground. Don't wake up until I tell you to.
nightmares aside, the colour scheme ranges from bleak, washed-out grey castles and towns that look like Zack Snyder directed it, to a kind of over-the-top golden-yellow piss filter
My
for
eye.
the CGI woodland scenes that's so excessive it
eyes.
actually makes your eyes start to hurt after a while. It's funny as well because there's like one scene that was filmed on location in a real forest, and the contrast between that and the CGI fantasy version is so jarring, I actually thought the action had shifted to a whole different country. Also, you can
Suddenly the colors the game suddenly changed. I also have that problem in like the Little Mermaids medieval. Like after she went to ground, the medieval ones are, I don't know, it's kind of sad. Let's just say it's kind of
can
sad.
absolutely tell this movie's been
The
reshot
costume's
for
kinda
fuck.
sad.
The kiss scene where Jonathan brings Snow White back to life was absolutely added in later to try to appease fans of the original. Snow White herself has clearly been toned down in places to make her less obnoxious, and I'd be willing to bet about 90% of the bandits' screen time has been cut. Most of them don't even get a single line of dialogue, which once again had me
No.
questioning, why the are they even in this movie?
Why are they
I think the
even
biggest
there?
problem though is the ending. The original movie had the dwarves battle in the evil queen to save Snow White, reinforcing the idea of reciprocal kindness and redemption, but here
Let's say that they just don't want to make this boulder, this stick, and this cliff and the thunder for
kindness and
CGI.
redemption, but here Snow White has to resolve everything by herself, and the result is that none of the other groups or factions have anything to do. Both the bandits and the dwarves, and even Jonathan, just kind of stand around watching the whole
Wait.
thing play out, and I
Really? Well, she did say she wants to be a leader, so being a leader means that you need to do everything by
couldn't
yourself.
help wondering, what is the film even trying to show us here? Snow
Do-
White as a
DIY. The film be like DIY everything. Do not trust anyone.
character
DIY.
seems to be all about equity and shared responsibility.
Oh no.
rather than privilege and greedy self-interest, but when it comes to the crunch, she ends up having to do basically everything herself, which negates the very
DIY.
point the movie's been trying to make for the past 2 hours. It's this fundamental inability to understand what it's even trying to say, beyond the crushingly tired princess who saves herself trope that's now become the very cliche it worked so hard to overturn that proves to be the film's real undoing. In short, Snow White is a modern day mess. A film that's basically been a disaster from start to finish, and now that it's finally out there and I've reviewed it, it's something I'm very much looking forward to tossing on the ash heap of history. Do yourself a big old favour, save yourself some time and money, and go watch the original instead.
Go watch the original.
Weird.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Go away now. The moral of the movie: rely on no one. Do it yourself. Remember names. Have a very good memory so that people will help you, supposedly.